beautiful. Even if my top E string had gone slightly flat halfway through that.
You know, the trials and tribulations of playing guitar on Andertons.co.uk in Guildford, the heart of England.
The heart of England. Not
Yes,
quite
right in the
heart.
middle.
What is it right in the middle? I would say sort of somewhere like Oxford's right in the middle. So that would make Guildford kind of like the right bollock.
I suppose in the middle of the UK is like Leeds, probably, isn't it?
Oh no, it's much further south than that.
What, heart of the UK? Oh no, because of course...
Oh, heart of the UK.
Yeah,
sorry.
UK,
Heart of the UK.
Like Yorkshire.
Yeah, I suppose it probably would be.
Slap bang in the
Sheffield?
mid. Yeah, probably is about
Probably
Sheffield.
is. Anyway, enough geography. Let's talk about biology. No, sorry, guitarology.
These are Fender guitars.
Fender.
Made in the US
How do
of
they
California.
do it? For 70-something years now, they've gone, here's a new Stratocaster,
Chop
which
a tree
isn't that
down, make
different
it
to the
pretty.
old Stratocaster, but somehow we fall for it every year. And this year is no different. Performer series. I like them. I'll be honest with you, I actually take my hat off to Fender of essentially reinventing and finding a new twist to do to something without going far enough from the original to upset everybody, but they go far enough for everybody to go, ooh, it's a bit new.
It's a bit new. But what's different about them, Lee? I don't know. Tell me.
Okay, so in the Fender catalogue for the last maybe 5 years or so has been a guitar called the American Special. It sits one below, it used to sit one below the American Standard, now kind of sits one below the American Professional. And it's essentially a full-fledged, made in Corona, California, American range of
I went there.
Strats.
It was closed.
Oh, bum. So a new range called the American Performer series replaces American Special, American Performer. It's going to have Strats, Tellies, and soon to come Jazzmasters, Mustangs, bass guitars. No Jaguars for some reason, still. Whatever.
What's with the Jaguar hate, Fender?
I don't know what it is. They're an endangered species. They're too busy shooting them. That's the problem. Hey, topical. Not every American's like that. Just some of them. Maybe we can't leave that in. Or maybe we can. So anyway, so Strats, Tellies, basses, Mustangs, Jazzmasters, no Jaguars. And it's kind of like the original, it's kind of following on from the American Special, which is a guitar that's made in all the right places, but just uses some slightly more economical finishing techniques. So you've got the completely satin necks, whereas the Professional series will have the lacquer on the headstock. Slightly more affordable tuners. Comes with a gig bag a la this one here, rather than a hard case. And all of that, and a more limited range of colours. And all of that adds up to a guitar that you can buy for under £1,000.
But really nice colours.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a champagne-y gold. It's like the colour your iPhone comes in.
Well, I'm
if you wanted
sure
to.
our wonderful editor Rory will help me out here, but these are the models so far. The regular 3 single coil Performer Strat, which you can get in rosewood fingerboard in Honeyburst, rosewood fingerboard in Arctic White, maple fingerboard in satin Lake Placid Blue, and maple fingerboard in a colour called Penny.
Well, it's like rose gold, isn't it?
I think it's supposed to be as in the coin, a penny coin, like a copper coin. Yeah. Anyway, so that's those. Or if you fancy something a bit more contemporary, you can get the HSS Strat, which is what Rob's got. Again, rosewood neck in 3 colour sunburst, rosewood neck in aubergine. Hey, don't go Googling aubergine.
Eggplant.
You never know what you might see. HSS in a maple fingerboard in black or in satin surf green. Oh, you've got a satin colour.
I really like this. I was on the phone to my manager, and while I was chatting, Rabia or someone pulled this out of the box, and I went, ooh, out of context completely from the conversation. It was quite amusing. But this is a new finish.
Yeah, it is. So telly-wise, there is a 2 single coil one, which we don't have here, so a traditional telly, which comes in 4 finishes: rosewood fingerboard in Honeyburst, rosewood fingerboard, satin Sonic Blue, maple fingerboard vintage white, and maple fingerboard in Penny. So that's got to be the... Oh no, we haven't... that. And then the one that Rob is holding is the Telecaster with the humbucker at the neck, which is rosewood board in aubergine, again, maple board in sunburst, maple board in vintage white, and finally rosewood board in satin.
This is
green.
vintage white then.
Yes, exactly.
Under the bed, seam stained.
What did you just say? You've been watching too much Captain Pugwash, you have.
How does yours sound, Lee?
Let's do sounds. Now, they're talking about the pickups on these. I'm just going to grab the spec sheet again.
You've got a lot of paperwork going on.
I've got a lot of paperwork here, yeah. The spec of these pickups, they are called Yosemite. Isn't that a national park?
It is.
Yosemite?
It's also a character
lived?
from Walt Disney's cartoons.
Where did Yogi Bear live? That was Yellowstone
He lives
Park,
in Yellowstone Park,
Is that the same thing?
He wanted them picnic baskets. Can you do an impression?
I'm smarter than the average
He
man.
wanted a picnic basket.
Is Yellowstone Park just like Yogi Bear's like make-believe version?
You're asking me
Yosemite?
like I have any idea about any geography in America.
America? Does Yellowstone Park exist separately to Yosemite?
All I know is it's fun to get drunk in Las
They
Vegas.
are. Now this, whichever marketing person wrote this, give yourself a special badge of excellence, because this makes no sense at all. They are flat staggered pole pieces to increase the output. So far, I get it. And a shellac coating that lets the coil breathe whilst controlling feedback.
Well, you know, if these coils don't breathe, then,
Wow.
then there's a real...
Ever so important that the
there's
coils in a pickup
giant
can breathe.
problem.
You don't want your coils going into cardiac arrest halfway through a gig.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Shall I make them some tones?
Yes.
Okay, here's
well,
a
it
tone.
basically just says they produce a dynamic sound ideal for any musical situation. So, country,
Yes.
jazz, metal, rock and roll. They literally do, ladies and gentlemen. They make a noise regardless of the musical style that you play.
Let's make some tones. Here is a neck pickup on this beautiful here guitar in a colour that I prefer of all these colours.
It's a nice colour.
Back it off one, it's a bit woodier. In the mid-ale penultimate position, I've made that as a new sound. Full-on humbucking glory. Now here's the cool thing, I've got the elixir of tone on the floor.
Before you do that cool thing, could you pull out your second tone control, please? The second one.
Oh!
Now, this says, according to the spec sheet here, this is called the double tap humbucker, because even though you tap it to make it go single coil, it's still hum cancelling. So apparently,
Oh, I
that's
see.
your
So
hum
it's
cancel
single.
coil.
So if I add in a gain pedal, it won't.
Hey, allegedly, did it? Is it worse with the thing out? A little bit. Well,
I mean, hardly noticeably.
there's a tiny bit. There's a tiny bit of.
All right, anyway, I've got an elixir of tone on the floor. So
naughty.
here's without. Here's with.
I think it sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels the same as this one. So you've got your 25.5-inch scale length, so it feels like a normal Strat. It's got your modern C-shape neck carve, so it's going to feel pretty much like most regular Fender Strats.
And I actually much prefer the neck when it's got less gunk on it. I think it feels better.
Well, so the professional series have less gunk on the back, but more gunk on the front. And I'm not sure if I quite like that professional.
Do you prefer your
series
gunk
stuff.
on the front?
I
or?
prefer the gunk on the front. This is getting
Are you
all wrong.
what the internet wants to
move
know,
on.
Lee? What the internet wants to know is: are you a scrunch or fold guy?
Hey, I'm gonna go scrunch, but I don't really know what you're talking about.
Toilet paper.
Oh, definitely scrunch.
Oh right,
Scrunch
I'm a fold guy.
Oh, you're a folder.
Oh,
Are you?
around the hand 3 times.
Every
Every time,
Why do you
bro.
go around the other side of the hand?
Because-
do you do a double wipe?
No, I just go around and then I take it off, and it's like perfectly folded to the size of my a-hole. So you're welcome, Fender.
Sorry about
I got
that.
asked that in a clinic, and I thought it was the best question I've ever been asked. How does yours sound, Lee?
Well, mine's going to sound exactly the same, except that my pull-out second tone knob does a different thing. So here's what it sounds like clean through a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe. Woo! Big jumbo frets. Middle. These two. And finally, the bridge pickup. Oh! Now, here's what this knob does when I pull this out, is it activates the neck pickup, a la your kind of classic wiring mods that I believe people like Dave Gilmour had done to their Strats. So here's just the bridge pickup on its own. And this is now these two pickups.
Well, it kind of makes a
Quite a
really,
different
really
sound.
wide humbucker.
Super wide humbucker. And I believe it works in the middle position as well. But of course, all that's essentially then doing is emulating what that does there, which perhaps makes less sense. But anyway, so effectively you've got your kind of one extra usable tone by having these two pickups together. I just wonder if I can get these two as well. That would be all three then. That's that one, that one, and that one. For when two's not enough. Vintage style trem system. We've not put the arms on, but you get the idea. It's just the old vintage style 3 screws holding it to the body and the bent over saddles. 70s style headstock. Or late 60s style headstock. The bigger style, basically. So, anywho, that's the... you got the telly now?
Yeah, I was going to say,
something?
did you see Ola's video on reverse headstocks? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, why does the headstock have to be reversed on a guitar, for example, on a brand like Chapman?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, when you're playing guitar like that, why do you want to have to take your hand off and put it on top when you can just do that? It's already there. And I thought that was such a brilliant...
Well, that is a classic piece of salesmanship from Ola, as the reality is reverse headstocks are just made to look you like Jimi Hendrix, aren't they? Just made to look you like? Just make to make
No,
you
I think
look like.
I think a reverse headstock has a dramatic difference on the tone of the guitar, along with the tone wood.
Along with the tone wood and the fact that the colour of the guitar. Do you want to hear this with... well, you've heard this with a bit of gain during the opening jam, didn't you? But I put a...
Do it again though, Lee. Sorry, I just couldn't help but play this beautiful guitar.
So I'm using... this is the Dane, the Thorpe Dane, to get my distortion sounds. Let's have all 3 pickups. Oh. Take the delay off. They got it so right the first time, didn't they, Fender? It's like 3 single coils, sounds great, sounds like a Strat, it's that chicken and egg question, isn't it? Do these sound great because all the great music were written on them, or was all the great music written because these sounded great?
And also, is it better
We'll never
to
know.
poach, to fry, or to omelette?
Poached.
I'm a poached
Every
guy.
time. I'm
Yeah,
a poached guy.
poached
But
guy.
are you poached?
It's basically butter sauce.
The butter sauce.
We digress greatly.
It's
Here
so much
is
more interesting
my,
though, talking about cooking.
Here's my Telecaster.
Did Pete show you that riff?
What? Oh, I just made that up.
Did you? I must apologise for a slight error in my technical explanation of
These aren't Fender.
These aren't Fenders. Your coil split on that guitar and on this guitar, it is a genuine coil split, so it goes to single coil. It's not supposed to stay hum cancelling in single coil mode. But apparently they've done something here where the volume difference between the humbucker and the single coil stays the same.
Right.
That's the clever double tap magic.
We're sorry to everyone that commented
Is
low.
it double tap?
You're wrong. Read the manual. You should
Is
know
it like
about.
a Windows operating system? You just go,
Double tap is what you do with zombies, isn't it?
is it?
If you don't double tap, you don't kill them properly. Well,
Let me hear what yours sounds like.
Just one's a bit quieter.
Not supposed to be. Have we tried this one yet?
You haven't.
Oh,
I've
try
done
this.
both of these. You've just done one guitar.
It's much more rosy. A bit more woody.
Sounds brighter to me, man.
Sounds like a Strat. Synthetic bone nut. So it's vegan friendly. 22 jumbo frets. There's nothing else to tell you, man, other than, you know, it's a cool guitar, and Fender do this thing, you know, they want to make sure that whether you've got £100, £200, £300, £400, etc., right up, that there's a guitar.
They want to take your money.
Kind of, that's the most you can get spec-wise for whatever budget you've got. And that's where this sits in. It sits above the kind of the Mexican stuff, but below the American professional. And I like it. Are you like boil the water, stir it round and round and round, put a bit of vinegar in, crack the egg straight in, and go for the sort of, you know, the free-form poacher?
I'm glad you asked.
Do you like a poaching dish?
I'm glad you asked, Lee, because I was taught by a chef how to poach eggs properly.
Yeah.
And he said use a frying pan,
Yeah.
and you put just a little bit of water in there with vinegar and salt, and then you just crack your egg in as if you're frying an egg, slowly, and it just makes the perfect poached egg, and you just splash it.
How do you get it to go super round like a golf ball?
No, if you just crack it slowly, it's just the perfect poached egg. You don't want, who wants a round poached egg when you can have it perfect every
What's
single
the
time?
best dinner to have a poached egg with?
I'll tell you the best place to get a poached egg.
I'm reminding myself of doing that. It's Donald Trump. I tell you, it's like, nobody knows more about poached eggs I can't even do the voice now anyway.
No, but I love that he just did that random accent.
And what was the accent?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I had a poached egg at Harry Ramsden's...
what, fish and chip shop?
No, sorry. Gordon Ramsay. He's
Harry
got a place.
Ramsden, Gordon Ramsay.
Well,
Gordon Ramsay's after you now.
He is.
You compare that, he will kill you next time he
Well,
sees
that's fine. You can try. I went to his cafe or restaurant. Sorry, not cafe.
Harry Ramsden's cafe.
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay got a cafe in Heathrow, and I had the breakfast, and I swear on my life, it was a great
Eggs
poached
Benedict,
egg.
man.
No,
Eggs
mate,
Benedict
it
is
was a
the-
poached egg that had been steamed for an hour.
Oh, really?
It had been cooked with steam. It was immense.
Eggs Benedict, beautifully toasted muffin,
Oh yeah,
bit of bacon,
you like your muffin
poached
toasted, don't you?
eggs, and hollandaise sauce. I make my own hollandaise sauce. It's so unhealthy. It's unbelievable. Just
Right.
butter.
I
Just a
know.
lot of butter and egg
Yeah,
yolks.
it's basically butter sauce.
Rory, help me out here. Woo!